Exactly.
And that's if you look at the numbers, Social Security will have enough money to pay 75% of its the benefits even after 2042, but they want to cut benefits by 46%.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, where's the rest of that money going?
It's going to go into the general fund to finance the government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a tax only on incomes under $87,000.
It's
By
$90,000
itself,
now.
Bush's proposal isn't necessary. It's really funny.
Actually, it doesn't even help.
Thatcher privatized the British Social Security system, and now you have the British Chamber of Commerce coming back to the government saying, why don't you guys take over the pension system? We're going broke trying to run it, because it's the same thing. You're at the mercy of the stock market. And the problem, I think, with Bush's proposal is he's saying, "Oh, independence, you pick your bullshit." He's gonna have a series, say, we will take your money and give it to this fund manager for merely 10% every year, whatever it is. I mean, because I knew what was happening. Every time I got a raise, I would not spend the money the first year. I would accumulate it large enough, and I would buy an annuity. I'd go shopping for them. So I had about 4 annuities. One of them's run out, but that's really, that's my quarterly. Every quarter I get a few $100s from each of the annuities, and there are a lot of people who do that. I mean, if you're looking for retirement, you're setting some money aside for a trip to Mexico, whatever, for another house, a new car, whatever. So anybody's got a little sense, they do that, because Social Security by itself isn't going to cover everything anyway.
No. But did everybody get the email that I sent out yesterday, the day before? Alex sent along a really nice bit of information, which now, since I didn't read your article in the Newsminer, was it substantially the same as what you sent in the in that email to me?
It's along the same lines. Should have almost copied and pasted it in there.
Okay. Has everybody been to thereisnocrisis.org?
No.
Never heard.
Great site.
50 scenarios. So,
right.
But don't. It seems like there should be one scenario, because otherwise, if somebody like, not so much us, but if somebody like a dean or someone got up in front of a camera, he can't list through 50 different scenarios. He's got to have an alternative plan.
Yeah.
Well, I think the top one is eliminating or raising the cap on income. It's subject to
That seems pretty egalitarian, but.
And if you remove the cap altogether, it'll make the program solvent at least through the next 75 years.
Well, into the
Social Security.
It's next 75 years, because that's all they project.
Wasn't there a proposal
a surplus then.
Wasn't there a proposal to change the cap sum up to like 140 instead of?
Yeah, I've seen that, and also 110,000, because that's what Greenspan said in the first in the 1983 agreement, that it should be 90% of incomes or something, which would make it 110,000, which would increase the solvency or take care of 40% of the problem. Just doing that alone.
There's no cap on Medicare, so I don't see why it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Medicare is
I understand
unlimited. It's unlimited. You pay every dollar you make, you pay Medicare tax. If you make $1 million, you pay that 1.45% on $1 million.
Right. The Republicans like a flat tax so much, don't they? Institute a flat tax.
It is. It's a flat tax.
Yeah,
it's
that's right. Right.
They're not going to like that, because there's an issue of, that taxes much more heavily people at higher incomes for something that they really don't require a benefit from. So why should they ever go for that?
Actually, I'm not sure that's true, because it only comes off their payroll taxes. All of their investment income isn't taxed for FICA.
Yeah, it's only wages.
It's only on wages. And people who are driving a bunch
physicians, it would pay, like I work in a medical thing, and around September, the physicians would stop paying into Social Security. But if it were on every dollar of income, they'd be paying it all year.
Well, okay, but all right.
They should do it for the good of the country. for us all to prosper, and they can
No, I agree.
join in.
I agree with that. I just think it's a tough sell.
When
Yeah.
was the last time Bush did anything for the good of the
Well, that's true.
No, isn't a key point that it is our money that's invested and it's returning our money to us, rather than that there's payers who's paying in now that's paying our thing because they blew the past money or something? I mean, isn't that a key thing to say it's our money being invested, being returned to us? It's not other people paying in.
Well, it's not really.
Well,
I mean, we're, the
it's-
future.
No, but
workers
if
are
they
not
invest
paid.
well, it would return.
But they're
But it's not a
investing.
prepaid system.
And that's the whole.
well-
The idea is that they want to switch from a
trust fund
pay-as-you-go
is.
system to a fully funded system.
Trust fund.
And every economist would agree with this. I mean, that's a great idea. I mean, there's no drawback to that idea, except you would have to stop paying current Social Security benefits and wait until you had enough funds to pay. You know, in other words, when FDR started the program, he would have said, okay, you know, if you're 64 years old, you contribute 1 year's worth of Social Security, you get 1 year's worth of retirement benefits. So he had to borrow a bunch of money to do it up front. So he had to use a pay-as-you-go system. He had to take the the benefits from the 16 workers per every one worker.
But hasn't it been phased into
No,
something different?
It's
since
never
then?
been.
No.
No, it's
But
still
the-
pay-as-you-go.
The
And that's
closest
what Greenspan was talking about.
The closest it's come to that was back in the Reagan years when they essentially started building up the Social Security
fund.
Trust Fund. Yeah, that's as close as they've gotten.
But that idea was just to
Keep
soften
it.
the bubble from the
Yeah.
baby boomers.
Yep.
which
Yep.
is coming.
I've always been partial, maybe this is an inform, but I've always been partial to raising the retirement age. It seems like a perfectly reasonable idea to me. I mean, people work long, and it doesn't mean you can't retire at 65, it just means you don't get Social Security benefits until 67.
They do say that that would hurt the low-wage workers, you know, the people that work in factories or nursing homes, because they're counting the days till they retire. You know, people that just sit in front of computers couldn't handle, you know, an age 70 retirement, but people that do manual work.
I think that's a small adjustment compared to a fundamental change.
Oh, you could definitely buy many years of solvency. with the
Well, you
small-
still could if you just raise the amount of people that are included who
No,
are
I
paying
agree. I
into
think
it.
either one of them. I mean, you could change. Yeah, there are lots of changes that you could make.
And in fact, it's not either or. It's both and. I mean, it's pretty clear that we're going to have to do a bit of the raising the cap, maybe raise the retirement age. You know, there are some other things that are potentially on the table. Go ahead.
The retirement age already has been raised. It's going
Yeah.
from 65 to 67. And the other thing to watch out for, though, is this argument about life expectancies being so much higher. You know, most of that is due to infant mortality. And so the life expectancy from 65 has increased some, but it hasn't increased.
If you make it to 65, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you make it to 65, even back in the 30s, you had a good chance of making it to 75.
I have a quote here from Tom DeLay on, because somebody was proposing.
Oh, my favorite.
On the proposal to raise to get rid of the limit, the $90,000 limit, you know, and to just have no limit on
Oh.
that. And when he said, quote, "We're not going to do that," unquote.
Well,
So that
alright
means he
then.
has to be put out of power. That's fine with me.
It's like, it was pretty cut and dry.